Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back with a controversial view of Hook. Hook is a 1991 sequel to Peter Pan, directed by Steven Spielberg. The movie stars the late Robin Williams as Peter, Dustin Hoffman as the title character, Captain James Hook, and a supporting cast of other standouts. In fact, Hook features 6 Oscar winners among the cast. This is a movie I watched a lot back in the 90s, but honestly, I think I appreciate it so much more now that I'm older. I just think it's so clever that instead of remaking Peter Pan, an original sequel was written all those years later. And I love that it's truly a what-if scenario. What if Peter Pan did grow up and had kids of his own and forgot all about his time in Neverland? Upon its release, Hook was pretty divisive though, and I guess you could say it still is. There are those who loathe the film, and then there are those who love it, and some that even consider it to be their favorite film of all time. Despite being divisive, this is not a positive spin though, and it's not a review, it's a C-view. A controversial view. Of course, controversial view is a positive spin-off, so the two go hand in hand, or hook in hand. 2 of the major controversies surrounding this one both involve Steven Spielberg himself. The first also involves the late Michael Jackson. Spielberg originally envisioned Hook as more of a musical. He planned on using it as an opportunity to promote his friend, Michael Jackson. Not that Michael Jackson necessarily needed any more promotion. He was the king of pop, after all. But then Spielberg put the project on the back burner so he could focus on others. When the time finally came to begin production on Hook, Jackson felt slighted when he wasn't offered the role. He felt Spielberg had promised it to him, but Spielberg claimed otherwise. Their friendship was severed because of this, and they went their separate ways. By the way, Spielberg almost didn't direct the film at all. Nick Castle was actually attached to direct. Yes, the same Nick Castle who played Michael Myers, or The Shape, in John Carpenter's Halloween. The other controversy surrounding Hook I'll be discussing is the most popular. This one not only involves Steven Spielberg, but Julia Roberts as well, and mainly her. As I'm sure you know, Roberts played Tinker Bell in Hook. Initially, though, the part was written with Carrie Fisher in mind. She instead made a cameo in the film and even helped with rewrites of the script. Then, Rebecca De Mornay, who Jason and I recently talked about when we discussed The Hand That Rocks the Cradle during Bravo's Scariest Movie Moments Challenge, really petitioned for the role. I gotta say, I think Rebecca would have been a fantastic Tinker Bell. Ultimately, though, it was Julia Roberts who was cast. Unfortunately, due to her poor behavior on set to other cast and crew, including Spielberg himself, Julia was given the nickname Tinker Hell. Apparently, she was nasty to others around her, including the director. Spielberg even went on record saying he had no interest in working with her again. Now, not that I'm actually defending her behavior, but to give you some context, she was going through a lot at the time. She was engaged to Kiefer Sutherland, and days before their wedding, she found out he had allegedly been cheating on her. In response to that, during production of Hook, She ran off to Ireland with Kiefer Sutherland's friend, Jason Patric. It's sort of fitting if you think about it. There are obviously the Lost Boys in Hook, and she ran off with a lost boy in Jason Patric. This clearly caused delays on production and forced Spielberg to rearrange his shooting schedule. I mean, his Tinkerbell was literally out of the country. She also cut her hair really short, and people didn't like that. After all was said and done, Julia Roberts was admitted to the hospital for nerve exhaustion. The stress just got to her. Fun fact, because she spends so much of her time flying around in Hook, she had an assistant whose sole job was to clean the bottom of her feet, because why would they be dirty if she's flying around? The Julia Roberts Tinkerhell saga is undoubtedly an infamous controversy in cinematic history. And you know what? I'll throw another controversy into the mix. I considered mentioning this, and then I thought against it, because people get so damn offended over everything nowadays. But this is a controversial view, and we cover controversial topics. While reading the script, Dustin Hoffman, who played Hook, and Bob Hoskins, who played Smee, got it into their heads that the two may be a gay couple. And so, based on that interpretation, they began portraying their characters that way. When Spielberg realized what they were doing, he reminded them that this was a movie being made for children. So Hoffman and Hoskins understood that Hook and Smee were just good friends. And finally, Hook features a major death that still haunts audiences over 30 years later, and one of the greatest food fight scenes ever captured on celluloid. By the way, as you can see here, this is my Super Bit DVD release of Hook, and I absolutely love this cover. Regardless, as I mentioned earlier, it's still a divisive movie to this day, so Jason and I watched it, so you don't have to. This is just my controversial view. Please be sure to check out Jason's as well to hear what he has to say. What are your thoughts on Steven Spielberg's Hook? Comment below and let me know. Which controversial movie will we view next? Check back soon to find out. Until then, remember, physical media matters. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind. Subscribe.